All right, friends, we're back again with the I am longevity dude, man. This bomba clot man. We're gonna react to the bomba clot himself, I am longevity, the longevity slave. So I am longevity says the IGF-1 scam, how one study hijacked longevity science. Wow, this guy's never gonna get over this, bro. Get it? Oh man, the study was true. It was right.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. What if I told you that one single study, the kind buried deep in the scientific journal,
Yeah.
just a few charts, a few tables, and some jargon, completely rewired how the entire world thinks about aging. This study convinced
How does the whole world think about aging? What is really aging?
millions of
The question is this, people. What is causing aging? Now, he says if you get motor units, you're going to reverse aging. No, you're not. Then he says you're going to, by getting these motor units or whatever, activating them, the fast twitch and motor units, you're going to activate them or whatever, these motor units, that you're going to also live longer. So you're going to reverse aging and live longer. How's that working for Tony? How's that working for him? 60 years old, looking 95. It reversing it for him? When's it supposed to start? Because I didn't know it was supposed to age you physically. Oh, I know. He's biologically 60, but he's physically 95. Is that it? That's how they fool you. All these crazy longevity people, they go, "Oh, I've got a biological age of an 18-year-old kid." Yeah, okay, man. Yeah, then guess what? Mine is my biological age is I'm 4 years old. Yeah, okay, dude. You understand what's going on here? If you want to measure, how should I put it, reverse aging or slow aging or reverse aging, then you have to look at your physical aging. You understand me? I don't know about living longer. Exercise, they tell you in PubMed, NCBI, exercise does not extend longevity. That's a known fact. It actually accelerates aging. Exercise accelerates aging. Me, I'm not an exercise channel or an exercise slave. I have told you people that before, but nobody can get it through their brain. All right? I'm more of a regenerative channel. I regenerate. I don't exercise. I don't do a lot of stuff. I play sports. I know exactly how much energy I'm losing there playing sports, but you release endorphins. I don't get stressed when I play sports. I play them so I don't get stressed. Now, lifting in a gym will stress you. It's stressing. It's stressful. It's stressing. That's why I don't like gyms. I don't like gyms, but I like them to cause a relative amount of some damage so that it can be regenerative. And there's a reason for that. And I'll tell you before we start this video to listen to this dude. All right. So, in my channel, I do eccentric exercises, which is bodybuilding. I bodybuild, which is based on the principles of eccentric exercise. Because if all of you keep equating hypertrophy, here's the thing. I'm going to fucking prove it to all you fucking people out there right now. When you say that that's hypertrophy work, right? We're going to do hypertrophy. You call bodybuilding hypertrophy work. Well, then what causes fucking hypertrophy? Concentric or eccentric? Obviously, eccentric is hypertrophy work in real bodybuilding, the real hypertrophy in real bodybuilding. So what is it? Eccentric exercise. Da. So it isn't based on concentric lifting, okay? Anyways, I'm going to read this from PubMed, but from NCBI. Sorry. I have the PubMed version here, but I'm going to read the one from AI Overview, okay? It's the same thing. I can bring the one from PubMed. It's called PubMed Satellite Cell Use It or Lose It, okay? So this is how powerful eccentric exercise is when it comes to this reverse aging. Like I said, I don't know about extending life. I am only talking about reverse aging, okay? Eccentric exercise can mitigate senescence. And here's the thing. Also, amino acids can play a role in reverse aging. They can play a very big role in reversing aging. The essential amino acids, whatever, okay? You can buy them in your local health food store or whatever. They definitely help, and they ramp up collagen production, and they do a bunch of other things, okay? They release growth hormone. They stimulate your pituitary to release more growth, your endocrine system to release more hormones, your growth hormone, which It's going to make you better. All right, so eccentric exercise can mitigate senescent acquisition. So the reason why eccentric exercise can mitigate senescent cells, these dead zombie cells, which make you look old, it can remove it because when there is a level of damage, the first thing that comes out are the macrophage. The macrophage and the satellite cell are activated. They combine together and they remove the dead cells. So while they're removing those dead cells in the muscle fibers, which you have caused micro injuries to, because remember, you got to get smaller to get bigger. So they will proliferate and go around and start removing a lot of these the zombie cells, the senescent cells that you have in your body. They'll proliferate and move around and remove them. You understand? They'll remove them. Yes. And they'll get rid of them. That's why it says it can mitigate senescent acquisition. So it can actually turn old muscle into new muscle. And I don't know how much further it can go as far as skin, your skin, what it looks like on the outside. It possibly has an effect on that, okay? And your bone as well. So, and myogenic decline. So it can also wear off myogenic decline, the loss of satellite cells, because you can increase the satellite cell pool. That's what we want to do. That's the whole idea. We want to increase the satellite cell pool. So by what? By stimulating satellite cells. How do you stimulate them? Through eccentric exercise, muscle damage. It causes damage. The muscle stem cells to regenerate and repair damaged muscle fibers. See, this activation of satellite cells leads to increased muscle mass and strength. And what does it do? Countering age-related declines. Furthermore, this type of exercise can reduce senescence-related markers and improve insulin sensitivity, and it can lengthen your telomeres, further contributing to overall what? Health and functional capacity. Here's more detailed explanation. Eccentric exercise, which involves lengthening of the muscle during contraction, damages muscle fibers. The damaged fibers triggers the activation of satellite cells, which are quiescent stem cells and residing near whatever. Okay, regenerative repair, so regeneration and repair, and then senescent reduction. This exercise has been shown to reduce the accumulation of senescent cells. See that? It's been known. But what he does, Tony, that doesn't do any of that, which are cells that have stopped dividing and can cause inflammation and tissue damage. So if they're there, they cause inflammation and tissue damage. That's why old people are always complaining about inflammation and tissue damage. So we have to remove them. But how do we remove them? Through eccentric exercises. It's so superior eccentric exercise, used for everything, bro. It's used for fucking rehabilitation, building muscle, getting stronger, a whole fucking wide array of things. Okay, man? I don't need to explain every detail. The reduction in senescent cells contributes to improved muscle function and overall health. So what happens when you get rid of these senescent cells, which are causing you all these problems? The reduction in senescent cells contributes to what? The improvement to improved muscle function and overall health. There you go. That is very important. Improved insulin sensitivity. Yeah, there's improved insulin sensitivity, which this is bad, bro. Get it. So this exercise can improve insulin sensitivity, making cells more responsive to insulin, improving glucose metabolism. This particularly important this is important in aging, and insulin resistance can contribute to metabolic disorders and further decline in muscle function, which we want to wear that off, and that prevents that. Other mechanisms. Exercise can also promote the release of growth factors that stimulate muscle protein synthesis, further contributing to muscle growth and repair. Additionally, exercise can increase blood flow, muscles ensuring delivery of nutrients and oxygen to optimal function. Okay, so regeneration and repair. Activated cells proliferate, differentiate, and fuse with damaged muscle fibers to repair them. Regenerate process helps maintain and increase muscle mass and strength. There you go. I don't think I need to go more into this. Okay. You get the idea. And in PubMed, you use it or lose it. It says the same thing. Okay, man. So you can go there and look it up for yourself. All right. I'm just using this as reference. You can go into this thing. It's called cell. See right there. It's right there. You can read it for yourself. Okay. Satellite cell, use it or lose it in aging. See, satellite cells and aging, use it or lose it. Yeah. And it tells you what it can do, what it can do here. Okay, it tells you a bunch of stuff: the decline, all that, the senescent acquisition, and the myogenic decline, and all that. It tells you how it repairs the models. And it tells you that you can only do this periodically. It says periodically, like it says there, periodic exercise. It does not say consistent. It says periodic. It can only happen periodically, this muscle damage, like it tells you there, okay? And then what it does is it activates and then creating new cells to repair and create NOS and muscle fibers while preserving a small population that can return to what? Quiescence for further regenerative demands and yada, yada, yada. Okay, dude? So that's where it comes from, okay? So stop bothering me.
To people to fear muscle, to avoid protein, to suppress growth.
I don't know about fearing muscle. He keeps talking about these stupid motor units.
Fast endlessly, and to believe that one of the most essential hormones in your body, IGF-1, was actually trying to.
What about IGF-1? It's automatic in muscle damage. It's activated. It comes out. It does everything. It does everything. Because it's based on regeneration. The moment some damage, some cellular damage happens in the muscle, there's a whole cascade of events that happens. It starts regenerating itself. You're not regenerating these so-called motor units. You're not regenerating them, bro. Get it? He's crazy.
Kill them. But here's the truth. No one told you.
His program.
That study.
His program is phony. His program will age you. It actually accelerates aging. That's why Tony looks 95 years old at 60. I know, but his biological age is why he says he's the new 30. Yeah, my biological age is 30, but I just look 95. It's an accident. Yeah, okay.
Was based on missing data. Excluded over 18,000 people, never tracked what anyone ate. And the number of people who got cancer was lower than the average population. Yet, from that one manipulated conclusion.
Cancer is an adaptation process. People don't even know what cancer is. Something happened. Your cells, they stopped replicating, so they started replicating cancer to keep you alive a little bit longer, so that you, like a plant, the winter's coming, it doesn't have time. It ramps up growing seeds, and then it drops the seeds for the following season because it needs to carry its DNA on. So you get cancer, your doctor says you have 6 months to live or whatever, you have some time limit to live. Well, your body says, you know what, I can't replicate any more of these cells because you're poisoning me, maybe with your poison coffee or some garbage you keep drinking there forever. And it says, you know what, time's up, but we have to keep you alive now so that you procreate. Here's the thing, you're going to know that you're dying because you're going to feel very sick. And in the back of your mind, well, it's thinking that in the back of your mind, you're thinking about procreating, making a child, leaving your DNA behind, and then dying. You understand me? Because at some point, your body just gave up. It gave up, and then it said, you know what? I can't stop him from drinking this poison coffee and drinking these oxalates all day and arsenic and shit. So cancer it is. I can't replicate these cells. So I'll keep them alive a little bit longer to procreate and create some kids and fuck off and die.
A global longevity industry was born. Welcome to the video that exposes it all. This study.
So if you want to stop cancer, then stop doing what you're doing. Doctor, every time I move my arm, it hurts. Well, guess what? Stop doing that and it'll go away. See what I mean? What caused the cancer? It's kind of obvious. Poison. Poison, enough poison in your body where your body can no longer adapt. It can't adapt to the poison anymore. It adapts with other avenues. It starts replicating other cells called these cancer cells. Because it can't replicate your natural cells, so it replicates something else to keep you alive a little bit longer, so you procreate and die. Yeah, it's kind of obvious.
It's called IGF and the risk of morbidity and mortality from cancer, cardiovascular disease, and all causes in Epic Heidelberg.
What about it?
In Epic Heidelberg.
Okay.
Sounds impressive, right? Big name, big claims, big consequences. It followed 25,540 people in Germany for nearly 17.5 years. They wanted to find out if higher levels of IGF, the hormone responsible for growth, repair, and muscle, might be linked to cancer, heart disease, and early death. And what did they report? That people with higher IGF had an increased risk of breast cancer, prostate cancer.
That's really stupid, man. IGF is just a hormone. Why would it give you a cancer, any of these things? The question is this, why is the IGF high? Here's the thing. Here's what happens. So IGF is a type of hormone. It's a building hormone. It does cellular reconstruction in your body. So he says people that were found with a high level of IGF-1, okay, why would your IGF-1 be high? Because it's regenerating something. It's trying to fix something. Okay, what's it trying to fix? Obviously, you're poisoning yourself with something, right? See what I mean? Here's the funny part. Then you get these people, they say, well, you do a blood test and they go, your cholesterol is very high. Well, we know in science that cholesterol is an antioxidant, a very powerful antioxidant. See what I mean? All your cells are made out of cholesterol. Why would your body itself raise cholesterol? If your body can create cholesterol, and it being sky high now, what's causing it to be sky high? You're not eating anything to make it sky high, so your body's doing it. Why is it doing that? Why is it creating more of it? To protect you. That's why. It's protection, dude. Get it? So what does your doctor do? He says, oh, this is a bad thing. To have your antioxidants so high protecting you, let's give you some statins and lower it. And then you continue in your behavior, whatever was causing it to go, it was protecting you, but now no longer can protect you because you took a statin to lower it, and you continue in your behavior, drinking that poison coffee, and the coffee was poisoning you, and your body was increasing the thing to protect you, the cholesterol, and then you lowered it with statins, and then you die. You die shortly after. You get it? That's how it works. You don't understand how the body works. All these things, if they're going up, it's to protect you. It's doing something.
Cardiovascular disease and all-cause mortality. They even claimed they followed a U-shaped curve, meaning...
Yeah, sure. They did a test. They gave these people chocolate, and they said in their blood was a high proliferation of these stem cells. Okay, what's chocolate? Extremely toxic. Have you ever tasted bitter? Have you ever tasted chocolates made out of crushed seeds? What's in seeds? Cyanide. They're toxic. They're heavily sprayed, and seeds are toxic. Chocolate seeds are toxic, and there's some kind of metals in there, some toxic metals and shit and whatever. Okay, so you eat this toxic seed, right? And it goes in your blood supply. Why would all these stem cells all of a sudden they start proliferating? Why would they do that? Think about that for a second. Why would they do that? If you eat poison, if you drink or eat poison, like have chocolate, they drank chocolate milk or whatever, or chocolate drink or whatever, this chocolate drink. And then it went sky high. Why would it do that? Because you're causing damage. That shit's damaging your body. Anything damaging you will activate what? Satellite cells, whether it's hypoxia oxidative or chocolate damaging your insides. I don't know. Is that a good thing? No. That's actually a bad thing.
Or too low or too high, IGF were dangerous. And from that point on, IGF became the villain, the hormone you were told to suppress.
Well, yeah, they became the villain because why would it be the villain?
All costs. But here's what they did not tell you. And
they didn't say, I don't think they said IGF-1 was the cause. They just said it was high. The cause is what you're eating.
I'm about to reveal, it changes everything. Let's put aside the headlines and look at what actually happened. This study, like I said, followed 25,540 people for 17.5 years. That's okay. 447,950 total person years of data.
Yeah.
And in all that time, do you know how many people got cancer? 1,668 people. That's just...
Yeah, why are these people getting cancer? Think about it. Why are they getting cancer? Because it's an adaptation process. It's just an adaptation to something that's going on there.
6.53% of the entire cohort over nearly 2 decades.
Again, can you cure cancer? Yeah. Stop doing what you're doing. Doctor, every time I do this, my arm hurts. So stop doing that. Stop eating that, and it'll go fucking away. Get it, dude? What part do you not understand?
And here's the kicker. According to the global cancer stats, over 25% of people will get cancer in their lifetime. So this...
According to their stats. Yeah. Why would they get cancer? Because they're stupid. Stupid people get cancer. You understand me? Stupid slaves get cancer. If there's any smart slaves out there, well, they'll unslave themselves. They'll release themselves from these shackles of being a slave to the system. You have to unlearn everything that they have fucking brainwashed you with. You understand? Like they have conditioned you with as a slave.
Group didn't have high risk. They had a lower risk. And guess what?
Yeah.
They weren't even elite athletes or lifelong vegans. They were just regular people.
They were just regular people. Yeah. Regular people. I don't know what he means by regular people. They weren't athletes. There's no such thing as an athlete. You're acting. That's acting, dude. He's really stupid. He thinks he's above other humans because he's some guy that jumps around in a backyard on grass and he's taking TRT and he's got 3% body fat. What a ridiculous human.
Living normal lives.
They're living normal lives with normal whatever. Nobody's living a fucking normal life, bro. They're living an artificial lifestyle. You're not in nature. You're living in a city or a town, whatever. You're living a very unnatural lifestyle. It's kind of obvious. That's why most likely, and that's contributing to this cancer.
IGF levels.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. If IGF is so dangerous, why did this group do better than the general population? That question alone.
Why did they do better than the general population if it's so dangerous? IGF-1 is not dangerous. It's what they were doing that caused it to elevate. It itself is not dangerous.
Should have stopped.
Maybe he doesn't even know how to read the study properly.
The narrative cold, but instead it got louder. And what came next is where the real manipulation begins. Here's where it gets shady. The study didn't measure IGF-1 in all 25,540
Holy
people.
shit.
Nah, they only measured it in 7,461 people. That means over 18,000 people, 70% of the cohort used in the study, were left out. So, how did they come up to the conclusion about cancer and IGF-1? Easy. They used the...
Easy. Let me see. Does eccentric exercise micro damage increase IGF-1? Well, let's find out. Yes, muscle micro damage, particularly from resistance exercise or eccentric contractions, can increase the release and expression of insulin-like growth factor IGF-1. Okay, but here's another thing. Why would insulin increase? Another way, I'm not talking about this it's very anabolic hormone, okay? Why else would it increase? Well, sugar. Can sugar increase IGF-1? See what I mean? It increases. Okay, why is it increasing? Because it's anabolic. It's fixing something here. But here's the thing. Let's talk about the general public. They're not doing eccentric exercises, okay? So let's see what happens. Yes, consuming a large amount of sugar can indeed contribute to increased IGF-1 levels. And why would IGF-1 levels increase? Insulin. Because insulin is trying to remove what? The sugar that's inside the arteries. So I'm trying to explain to you. So they would equate that study being that IGF is bad because it's going up high because of what? Well, whatever it is that you're doing there. So what is the cause of IGF going up really high? The increased amount of sugar that you're eating. Get it? So this type of IGF, when it's going up according to sugar, I'm not talking about muscle damage. I'm talking about sugar. When it goes up to try to remove the sugar from your arteries, they consider that a bad thing. You understand me? Because of what you're doing there. This is primarily due to the resulting increase in what? Insulin, which can stimulate IGF-1 production. Yeah. So sugar can indeed contribute to increases in IGF-1. But this is a type of bad thing according to them. Well, it's not bad because it's trying to save you by removing the sugar in your arteries. Okay. What happens when it crashes? What happens if it's not working? What happens if this is not working? They say you turn diabetic. Well, why are you turning diabetic? Because your body adapted by saying, you know what, we need to stop this behavior. We need to make you feel bad. We're going to shut this down. We're not going to remove any more sugar, and it's going to make you feel sick. And then you'll stop consuming whatever it is you're consuming to cause this insulin IGF-1 to go up. See what I mean? But what do? You go to your doctor and you say, doctor, I need an insulin shot. And they give you an insulin shot. You continue in your behavior, and then you die later. Get it? You die sooner than later. So yeah. What's this one here? Hyperinsulinemia. Yeah, that's interesting. Blood levels. Okay, well, you get the picture, man. I don't need to go any further there, but whatever.
A shortcut called case cohort design. Sounds scientific, right?
Yeah, sure.
But here's what it really means.
Yes.
They picked a representative subgroup of 3,700 people from the full cohort.
Yes,
Then
Tony.
they added all the cancer cases, 1,668 of them.
Okay.
Along with the cases of cardiovascular disease and deaths.
Yeah.
This added up to 7,783 people. But wait, IGF-1 was only measured in 7,461. So, 322 people in the analysis had no IGF data at all.
Okay.
And guess what? The study never told us who those 322 were, whether they had high or low IGF-1, or if they got cancer. That is selective inclusion. And it opens the door to statistical distortion. Imagine leaving out key puzzle pieces.
Okay.
And still claiming you solved the picture. That's what happened here.
Sure.
They use what's called hazard ratios to claim that high IGF-1 equals more cancer. But that conclusion was based on a fragmented sample with missing cases.
That's not what they're saying. They're saying that there's a distinction between high IGF-1 and them getting cancer, meaning whatever they're eating there causing IGF-1 to increase. Like I just showed you, insulin. What would cause it to go up? A large amount of what? Sugar. Now, can salt make it go up? I don't know. I'd have to look it up, okay? But I know that salt and sugar are two majorly bad things that people are addicted to, and they eat a lot of it. All right? And they're bad for you.
And over 70% of the population group ignored. That's not science. That's rigged outcome dressed up as research. Now, here's the part they hope you never notice. Out of the full 25,000...
Yeah, so what are they going to give you? A statin to lower your IGF-1? Is that it? And then you'll die too?
140 participants. IGF-1 was only measured in 7,461 people, which means 18,079 people, more than 70% of the entire study, were completely left out of the IGF analysis. No blood tests, no follow-up, no risk calculation. So how did they account for the massive gap? They claimed that a subcohort of 3,700 people, 1,810 men and 1,890 women, could represent the entire 18,000 unmeasured group. Yet, they used just 3,700 people to speak for the 18,000. Okay. That's like polling 3 people in a room of 20 and assuming you know what everyone is thinking. It assumes every factor: diet, exercise, lifestyle, illness, genetic.
You got to understand the pharmaceutical industry and the health industry is a business. It is a business. They're not going to tell you their secrets. They're not going to cure your problem. Why would they do that? They can't make any money curing your problem. They just deal with the symptoms. That's it. They deal with the symptoms.
Was perfectly captured by those 3,700 people.
Okay.
But life doesn't work that way. And here's the real kicker. What if many of those unmeasured 18,000 people had high IGF and never got cancer? What if the real profile of health and longevity was buried in the people they never measured? You'll never know because they never looked. They built an entire conclusion over...
I don't know, Tony. What were they eating? What were they consuming? What was their lifestyle? Were they living? Were they working beside a nuclear plant? I don't know what they were doing. Were they eating a lot of sugar and salt? Were they eating donuts every day? Maybe they drank coffee every day with sugar and milk in it. I have no clue, Tony. You got to tell me.
On a group they didn't even test. They turned around and told the world, this is proof that high IGF-1 causes cancer. That's not just bad science.
That's really dumb. How can high IGF-1 cause cancer? It itself does not cause cancer. Obviously, it's the activity that's causing the IGF to go up. Like I just read to you, insulin. Sugar caused IGF increases. You think they're stupid? They don't know that? Maybe you're reading the study wrong. I don't know. I would have to look at it. I haven't seen the full study. See what I mean? Most likely, you're not a scientist and they're not talking to you. They're writing papers to other scientists. They're not writing to you. You understand me? They're not talking to you. They don't know who you are. You're just a layman, a guy from the street.
That's academic sleight of hand.
No, it's not. I doubt that they said that. I doubt that they said that IGF-1 was responsible for cancer. And IGF, a molecule, insulin causes cancer. How can insulin cause cancer in your body? Insulin isn't cancer, and cancer isn't insulin. That's just dumb. He's making that shit up.
Sleight of hand. If the goal was to prove that a higher IGF-1 causes cancer, there's one thing they should have shown first. The actual IGF levels of the...
Insulin doesn't cause cancer. I don't know what he's talking about, man. All right, let's get this. Yes, elevated IGF-1 levels are associated with the increased risk of developing certain cancers. See what I mean? It doesn't say that it causes it. It says it's associated. Yeah, because what's causing the IGF-1 to go up so high? See, he's inferring, he says that IGF-1, they're saying IGF-1 causes cancer. That's not what they're saying, because overview tells you, it says associated with the increased risk of developing certain cancers. Why? Because your body is trying to protect you from getting cancer from the sugar that's causing it. IGF-1 hormone that plays a role in growth and metabolism has been linked to increased risk of breast, colorectal, and prostate cancers. But why? Why would it do that? What was the cause of what's causing it to go up? What's causing it to go up? Why would it increase by itself for no reason? What's causing it to elevate? Your poisonous diet, duh. Your sugar, your fucking drugs and shit and everything, your drug-induced plant food shit diet is causing that. See what I mean? So they're associating it with that high risk of getting these things. So Tony's trying to say that they say it is directly responsible for creating cancer. Well, it can't elevate by itself without being helped. Get it? Man, it itself doesn't go up for no reason. Your body doesn't increase it for no reason. It doesn't go up for no reason. Something that you're doing caused it to go up. Get it, man? So high levels of potentially increasing risk of cancer, cardiovascular disease, overall mortality. Yeah, okay. And so what? So what? Stop doing that. And it'll go away. Whatever it is you're doing that's causing it to elevate, stop doing that, and it'll go back down. Duh.
The people who got cancer.
Yeah.
Seems obvious, right? Show us the real breakdown. Lay out the facts. How many cancer patients had higher IGF-1? How many had lower IGF?
The study is not for you. The ones that have lower IGF-1 means they're not taking in enough poison as the ones that were. Get it?
One. How many were right in the middle? But here's what they gave us instead. No table, no chart, no raw numbers, no IGF profile of the 1,668 cancer cases. Instead, they grouped IGF-1 into quintiles, ran a statistical model, and popped out a hazard ratio.
Okay.
That's like saying, we won't show you how many people were speeding, but trust us, it caused the accident. They never showed how many cancer cases came from each IGF-1 level. Not one visual, not one breakdown, nothing. And you have to ask, why not? Because maybe it would expose the truth. That many people with high IGF never got cancer. That people with low IGF-1 still did. And that their entire narrative would have unraveled on the spot. This is not transparency.
Can bread cause cancer? Yeah. All these fake foods can cause cancer because they're fake.
This is scientific theater. When a study avoids showing you the raw data, especially when that data could disprove the claim, is not
That raw data is not for you, it's for other scientists. They don't care about you.
by accident. It's because the numbers didn't back up the message. Let's slow down for a second and do one thing that they didn't want you to do, the math. Because that scary headline you keep hearing, people with high IGF-1 had a 31% higher risk of cancer. Sounds terrifying until you
Yeah, because their fucking insulin is sky high. Because they're consuming too much sugar. So they have high IGF-1. So there's a higher chance of them getting cancer. See what I mean? You're gonna become dysfunctional. Your cells will become dysfunctional. If your mitochondria becomes dysfunctional, you'll get cancer.
look at what it actually means.
And sugar causes it to become dysfunctional. It's very simple.
Let's go straight to the source.
Okay, let's go to the
The
source, Tony.
Heidelberg study followed 25,540 people for 17.5
Yes,
years. I
Tony.
mentioned this twice already.
Yes,
And during
genius.
their entire time,
Yes, genius.
1,668 of them got cancer. That's an app.
Okay. What are they consuming? I don't know. See what I mean? It's something you have to discuss with the scientists. Call them up and ask them. They share these studies between each other, not you.
Absolute cancer risk of just 6.5%. Now, break it down by cancer types. Prostate cancer, 577 cases, 2.26% risk.
I
Breast
can tell you this, it's most likely sugar. The majority of people's slave food diets is sugar. They consume way too much sugar. Your body can only process a gram of sugar a day, but you're eating grams. One Coca-Cola is like, I don't know, 30 grams of sugar. What happens when you drink 2 Cokes? That's 60 grams of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. You know what I mean? What's your body doing with that sugar? Well, I do know that if you have more muscles, you can metabolize this stuff, right? So it doesn't really totally, it's like a buffer kind of. Yeah, but what happens to skinny people? I don't know. Diabetic, something, whatever. Who the hell knows? I wouldn't eat it anyways. Just forgo eating that shit.
cancer, 623 cases, 2.4.
Man, that whole breast cancer stuff is very solvable. If they would stop eating the slave food diet, these women wouldn't get breast cancer. Then they cry why they cut their breasts off. Well, it's your fault. You can't stop eating drugs all day. If you can stop eating drugs, then you wouldn't get your breasts cut off. But you're so addicted to eating it, you can't stop eating the slave food drug-addicted diet. And then they get cut off. And then you're sitting there wondering, oh, they're gone now. Yeah, it's too late now. Like it's your teeth. So you continue in this behavior, eating sugary foods and everything. Your bones, the minerals are fucking just going out. Your teeth are weakening. You're getting cavities, whatever. You're losing your teeth. And then by the time you've lost so many teeth, you go, oh, maybe I think I should stop doing this, destroying myself, eating these destructive foods. Well, by then it's too late, ain't it? You almost have no teeth left. You understand me? You'll only stop when it gets to the point where you're like, holy fuck, I'm almost lost all my teeth. Yeah, like I said, by then it's too late. It's like when people get cancer, they have an idea what's causing it, and then they try to change their diet, what they're eating, and do different stuff, but they're still kind of somewhat continuing in that behavior, feeding the cancer. They just don't realize it because they can't stop their drug-addicted, induced plant food fucking drug addict diet.
4% risk.
Manage your roofing business on one platform.
Oh my God, another commercial.
Then next is lung cancer, 202 cases, 0.79% risk. And
Oh my God, he's gonna go on and on forever. Lung cancer, 2.5 inch risk, this risk. Yeah, what's causing it? Sugar.
finally, you have colorectal cancer, 268 cases, 1.05%.
Kids just getting
All the hype about 31% increased risk amounts to from 2.26%
Okay, whatever.
at 50. Now let's talk about the biggest mystery of all. In figure 1 of the study, they quietly admit that IGF-1 levels were only measured in 7,461 out of 7,783 people in the case cohort. That's 322 people with no IGF-1 data.
Okay.
Gone. That's crazy. Those 7,700
Who cares?
longevity. This is where the damage really started, because this wasn't just a quiet paper published in some obscure journal.
Yeah.
This particular study and a handful like it sparked a full-blown movement.
Holy shit, man. This video is way too long. You know what?
A movement that
I'm
changed
done.
how millions of people eat, train,
There you go. Eat. How people train. People don't train. How people eat, yeah.
recover, and age. This was the new gospel. Protein is dangerous. Muscle growth is risky. Fasting will save you. Shrinking your IGF-1 is the ultimate biohack. And
Yeah, humans don't know anything, Tony. Did you know that? Humans don't know anything, so they pretend. They pretend, and they still don't know, and they pretend. And then some try to figure it out. But the food industry, the health industry, it's a business, bro. It's a business. Come on.
who jumped on board?
Okay.
Longevity influencers, biohacker startups, Silicon Valley tech bros, longevity clinics, fasting evangelists, supplement companies with IGF lowering stacks. They all parroted the same message. High IGF-1 equals cancer. Lower it. Stay small. Live longer. But now you know the truth. They didn't measure IGF-1 in over 70% of the population group. They lost 322 cases due to missing data. They never showed the actual IGF-1 levels of the cancer patients. They ran statistical models, not real breakdowns, and they inflated 0.7% difference into a 31% relative risk. And yet, this flawed model shaped a multi-billion-dollar industry. An entire movement was built around the fear of a molecule that builds muscle, supports the brain, maintains neuromuscular junctions. That's part of you.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious. We know that. It's an anabolic hormone.
Motor units, preserves motor units, helps you recover, keeps you strong as you age.
I like how he says preserves motor units. It doesn't create more motor units, unfortunately.
Didn't just get the science wrong, they hijacked the future of aging. And they actually told millions of people to weaken their bodies.
They hijacked the future of aging. The future of aging. Well, they shouldn't have done what they did to get the cancer to begin with. Listen, man, they're adults. I'm not holding their hand. They don't need to eat the slave food diet anymore. We're not slaves anymore. We got meat in the store. Get it? They can eat meat. If they don't want to eat meat and they want to poison themselves, that's on them. That's their own problem. If they want to riddle themselves with cancer, then continuing that fucking behavior, because it's not considered a diet in science. That's considered a behavior, and their behavior is it's nonsense. Get it? And they deserve to get cancer, and they should get more cancer everywhere and riddled all over their body. They deserve that.
In the name of longevity, the IGF scare turned into a gold mine. Big money was made. People spent billions on books, supplements, blood tests, and so-called...
The fasting is because they think, well, they don't think about the slave food diet, a lot of them, because they're so dumb. And so they're like, I gotta fast, and then this will just eat it away if I fast. But then, when you eat the slave food diet and you continue poisoning your cells again, right? You go back to eating that way, bam, the cancer comes back out again. And then you're like, why is it back again? Then you try to do these things again, and bam, it's back again. Why? Because slave food diet, the poison, you're poisoning yourself.
longevity programs.
Let me tell you something. Plants have a protective mechanism, and guess what? It works. You want to know why? Because you're going to die. It gives you, the plants, they poison you, give you cancer, and you die. And you stop eating them. Get it? See what I mean? Here, let's say that one more time. Let's practice this one more time. Plants have defensive mechanisms in them. You understand me? They have their own mechanisms called poison. And then what do? When you eat them, you get poisoned, and that's how they prevent you from eating them, because when they poison you, you get cancer and you die, and you no longer can eat them anymore. Get it? So it works. Get it? It works. Yeah, you got cancer. It works, absolutely works. The toxins in plant work 100% because it fucks you, gives you cancer and disease, and you die. See, it works. It works.
Then one thing, lower your IGF-1 if you want to live longer. Wait a second, it gets even darker. Because they told on themselves. And the hidden agenda.
Okay.
It's right there in the study. Are you ready for the reveal?
Yeah.
You want to see how deep the manipulation goes?
Yes, how deep does the manipulation go?
Let's rewind for a second.
Okay.
This study was supposedly about IGF-1 levels and cancer risk and cardiovascular issues.
Sure.
That's what the study is about, right? They didn't track what people ate, did they? They didn't control their diets. They didn't
I don't know. I didn't see the study. Did it track what they were eating or their diets? What were they doing?
follow up on their habits.
Okay.
Just a single blood sample measured once at baseline. But then right there, buried in the discussion, they dropped this. Buried in the discussion, they dropped this. Earlier studies reported that IGF-1 levels and mortality were associated with intake of protein, milk, potassium, calcium.
Where it says another important factor is understanding the relationship between IGF-1 and mortality. The relationship is nutritional status. Yeah, they're telling you the nutritional status. In particular, protein intake. Yeah, I don't know what kind of protein intake. Is this meat or is this plant protein? I have no idea. See what I mean? Earlier studies among EPIC participants reported associations between IGF-1 levels and intake B6, B2 proteins, milk, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. Okay, what about it? I don't think that was just it. They were obviously everybody in the world eats a slave food diet with protein, with meat protein and animal products. So what are they trying to say, that the animal products but not the slave food diet was causing that? Because I can't really see the rest of the study here. What else were they eating? It can't be animal products.
Magnesium, phosphorus, and vitamin B6 and B2.
Okay.
Wait, what? What does that have to do with anything in this study? They didn't even track diet, so why bring this up? Because here is the
They said nutritional there, and they showed you some stuff, but I didn't see the rest of it.
hidden message. These nutrients increase IGF-1, and we just
I love it. These nutrients increase IGF-1, or the toxins in the plant foods cause it? Where did it say that the nutrients cause that? Nowhere in science does it say nutrients cause IGF-1 to go up. I've never heard that before.
told you IGF-1 is dangerous, so you might want to avoid this. Let's break that down. Animal protein, demonized. Dairy, guilty by association.
Yeah, but you eat slave food. I saw that slop that you eat, and you say that it equates to longevity with all your crazy supplements, which is weird.
Essential nutrients, potassium, magnesium, calcium, and phosphorus. Crucial B vitamins linked to brain, nerve, and mitochondrial health. They painted these four horsemen of health, the essential minerals, as dangerous, based on no dietary data whatsoever.
I don't know. I didn't see the rest of the study. Why don't you pop it up?
And it doesn't stop there. In our recent analysis, we found that animal intake was
Holy shit, man. In our recent analysis, we found that animal intake was associated with increased risk of mortality. Really? In our recent analysis, why would the intake of animal be associated with mortality? Why? Because the IGF level was high. What else were they eating there? I don't know. Like I said, it's a business, bro. Who gives a shit? So he's upset about this study because he's trying to use it to combat the last study that proved his stupid fucking motor unit shit wrong. That study was right because they didn't have anything to gain there monetarily in money. But when it comes to the food industry and the drugs and all that, they profit from this. So they have a reason why they would fake in their studies, and they're always going against animal products which make you healthy. They're going to deem which is healthy bad and which is bad going to be healthy. That's how it works. If you want to sell this shit to people.
associated with increased mortality, largely driven by cardiovascular disease. I mean, are you serious? This study didn't test that. They just snuck it in as if it validated the IGF-1 findings. You know what this is called? Narrative planting. That's all style manipulation. They seeded the idea that protein equals high IGF-1, IGF-1 equals cancer.
I don't know. Maybe those animals are riddled with disease. They give them shots and everything. What do you expect? Because they're domesticated. Who the fuck knows what's going on there? I don't know what they're trying to talk, what they're getting at right now. But I know it's a business, and I don't really care.
Therefore, protein and nutrients equal dangerous. And boom.
Protein and nutrients equal dangerous. And boom. Okay. If they deemed it was plants that were dangerous and everything, do you think people would just stop eating the plants? No, they'd keep eating them. Now that they've deemed these animal products and whatever, let's just say animal products and whatever, they're dangerous, is that going to mean that people are going to stop eating them?
You just launched a fear-based longevity doctrine.
Yeah,
All without measuring food, following diet,
No kidding. It's
or
not the first
providing
time.
causation.
No kidding. It's not the first time.
Linked IGF-1
And it won't be the last time, Tony.
to life essential nutrients without proof and fed that to the anti-protein movement. And the result? A manipulated study created a massive industry of restriction while weakening the very system that protects you from aging. This was not just about IGF.
Okay.
This was about control of the narrative
Right.
and your biology.
Okay.
Let's step back for a moment. You've seen how the IGF-1 study manipulated its data, ignored 70% of the cohort, and played statistical shell games. But now here comes the final blow.
Yes, what is
the
it?
authors had a pre-existing
What's the
bias,
final blow?
and they revealed it. Just 3 months before they published this IGF-1 paper, some of the same authors dropped another study,
Okay.
attacking animal protein. Here is the present study. The lead author, Trasius Mukama, and another author, Rudolph Cakes. Now, here's the study from 3 months ago attacking animal protein. Let's read what they said. Factors uniquely associated with animal protein could perhaps explain higher mortality. Could perhaps? That's not science, that's speculation.
Okay.
But they weren't done. They went on. Branched chain amino acids, BCAAs, largely present in animal protein sources, could lead to insulin resistance, excessive weight, etc. Hold on. Are they talking about the same branched chain amino acids that athletes, bodybuilders, and performance doctors have praised for decades? The ones essential for muscle repair
They're not talking about those, dude. They're talking about the ones that are inside there.
and metabolic function? But wait, it gets worse. They continue. Another hypothesis is that IGF-1 has been postulated to link animal protein-rich diets to increase anabolic activity and the development of cancer cells. There it is, the setup, the bait. This was not an unbiased exploration of IGF-1 and health.
This has nothing to do with motor units. They don't make money making studies about motor units. They don't care about them. Dude, you understand me? They're not selling you a drug or anything with the motor unit thing. They beat you. They beat you to a pulp, and now you're upset. So you want to bring out this study about the food industry now, about what they're talking about. It's nothing that we don't know already, okay? It's nothing new. We've known this for a long time.
This was a premeditated narrative starting with
Yeah, no kidding.
animal protein is bad.
We know that. It's nothing new.
Branched chain amino acids are risky. IGF-1 promotes cancer.
Sure.
Then, 3 months later, boom, they published the IGF-1 study to make it all seem true. Here's the kicker. A
Okay, whatever.
single clear biological pathway has yet to be identified. Translation.
And sue them.
We have no proof, but we're going to
Listen, then sue them for fraud, okay? It's fraudulent then. If the study's fraudulent, then sue them for fraud. Okay? You got a case. Get a lawyer. You're going to make billions of dollars. You understand me? But if you're reading the study wrong, because maybe there's more to it than that, then they'll countersue you.
keep saying it anyway. Why this matters. This is how scientific fear narratives are born.
Oh my God.
Speculate about harm from protein.
Yeah.
Tie it to IGF-1.
Okay.
Run a flawed study that confirms it. Launch a media wave.
Sure.
Influence public policy, diet guidelines, and the supplement industry. And guess who pays the price? people trying to build muscle, older adults trying to stay strong, anyone trying to preserve motor units and resist aging. They will tell.
I love this. Resist aging, preserve motor units. You're not going to preserve anything. You sound like you're preserving dead bodies. Look how are you well preserved? Doesn't look so good because it looks 95.
To fear the very thing that
How's that preservation working for you?
helps them survive aging, all based on bias, not biology. Now that we've cleared away the noise, let's talk about what IGF-1 actually does. Because this hormone, they spend years demonizing,
Okay, what does it actually do?
it might just be the one of your body's greatest defenders. Let's break it down. Number one, IGF-1 protects your brain. Having low IGF has been linked to health problems related to metabolic.
Yeah, we already know that. They're hormones in your body. IGF-1 is a hormone. You can increase it by eating beef or a bunch of things. It can increase on its own in your body. A bunch of things. Yeah. All right.
Syndrome, both in living bodies and in lab studies. IGF-1 is important for making new brain cells, keeping your brain flexible and healthy, helping nerves grow, building blood vessels, keeping your metabolism working, and clearing waste from the brain. Keeping your metabolism working and
Yes.
clearing waste from the brain.
Yes.
It isn't some bad guy hormone.
It is it?
It's actually essential for growth, repair, and survival,
It is? I had no clue. Oh, really?
especially as you get older.
Okay.
And yet, they are telling people to suppress it. Number two, IGF-1 preserves your muscles. Muscle isn't just for looks, it's functional tissue. Your ability to move, stand, balance, and live independently depends on it. IGF-1 activates muscle protein synthesis, satellite cell regeneration, recovery from injury. Number three, IGF-1 preserves your fast-twitch fibers and motor units. Many studies have found that as people age, their levels of IGF-1 naturally decrease. This decline plays a
Let me tell you something. When you wake up the satellite cell from quiescence, damaging muscle fibers eccentrically, well, guess what? IGF-1 goes up automatically. It's extended for that entire week during the repair and the remodeling. So I don't know what you're talking about.
role in the breakdown of neuromuscular junction.
How is it going to give you cancer if you're regenerating your body? If it goes up, it's going to go up automatically, and it's not because of your food, it's because you've damaged muscle fibers, so it's going to go up really high. See what I mean? So did they test somebody that lifted eccentrically and they got muscle damage and their IGF-1 went sky high? Does that mean it's going to give you cancer because you exercised? See, you said that they did a study. They had high IGF-1, but muscle damage causes IGF-1 to go up high. Eating a lot of meat can cause IGF-1 to go high. I don't know. It can increase it because meat's got it in there. I don't know. And what else would cause it? Sugar would cause it high. So which one is it? I don't know this study. I would have to read it. You never gave me the study.
And the loss of motor units. Neuromuscular junctions are very important for motor units.
Sure, yeah.
Supporting this idea, experiments in mice show that an increase in IGF-1, specifically in muscle tissue, reversed age-related muscle loss, sarcopenia,
Yeah.
and prevented typical aging changes and losses of fast-twitch muscle fibers. Translation: it helps your nervous system stay wired to your muscles. That's youthful movement at the cellular level. Number four, IGF-1 supports your cardiovascular system. It improves microcirculation, nitric oxide production, vascular function, and insulin sensitivity. So why are we suppressing something that keeps your brain, muscles, nerves, and heart young? And they told you to suppress it based on a manipulated study. There are other studies also that didn't even measure 70% of the people. Lost data on 322 cases and never show you the real IGF profiles of those who got cancer. Let that sink in. The science was bent. The narrative was planted. The damage was real, and now you know better. Or you should know better.
Oh my God.
You've been fed a lie, and it's not too late to rewrite your
Oh, we've been fed a lie. Unfortunate. How unfortunate for us.
story. Start fueling your body with real protein, not powders and
Yes, not powders. Isn't that what he eats? Powders? Fuel it with real protein, yes.
promises. That's what I do. I eat 200, 250 grams of protein. Train your nervous system. Preserve your motor units before they vanish. Stop.
You know that I directed my last video towards him. I told him about satellite cells and about eating real meat and stuff and stop eating that slave food diet. Now he's promoting eating animal products, but yet he kept promoting eating a slave food diet and eating all these weird toxic, I don't know, these supplements. Remember that slop he made in the video? That slop, those crazy, weird, sloppy foods made from weird powders and, I don't know, weird shit. Really weird, man. This is really weird.
Fear and growth, it's how you stay alive. Question the science that left us.
Growth, it's how you stay alive. Now he's talking about muscle because that's all I ever talk about on my channel. I don't talk about motor units much.
70% of its own data.
I mean, it's part of it. We know about motor units, but it's about muscle.
Because here's the truth. Muscle is youth. Movement is medicine.
See? Muscle is youth. I thought it was motor units that are youth. So now he changed his mind.
IGF.
You see, he's been watching my video because I directed towards him the other day. So now he came up with this video. Muscle is youth. Yeah. Muscle is youth. What happens if you lose muscle? You get weak. Why? Because there's nowhere for the motor units to proliferate. See what I mean? So how do you prevent that? Easy. Increase muscle mass.
IGF-1 is not your enemy. And the longer you wait to rebuild what's left, the harder it gets. So now
But it's very hard to build muscle. How do you build it then, Tony? How do you build it? Not jumping around backyards, doing exercise, jumping around like a rabbit all day.
you have a choice. Keep shrinking or fight back and go.
You look like you're shrinking because you look really small. How big is that t-shirt? Is that an extra small from Old Navy, that tank top? Look at your head. It's small. Your bone structure in your mouth and everything. It's underdeveloped. It's weird. It's shrinking. You're shrinking. Your head is small. Your brain is shrinking too.
The limit.
Innova makes quoting and buying your insurance online quick and...
I have no clue what he was talking about there. I guess that was it. I'll see you in the next one. Tell us what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. That was ridiculous, man.